I want to bring your attention to the grandfather,
I saw it.
the guy that's retired. Okay, I think he's kind of unique. He had a couple of band-aids here. We repaired him, but he gave up. We gave him some dignity. So he's going to go back home, back to my casa, and we bring him up now and then, just so he catches some fresh air. One of the other things that the miller had to do was very interesting, was he'd have to prepare the surface of the milling stone. And it was a very tedious work. If you mind, I'm going to join you guys there. I'm going to show you what they would do. It's right here. No, it's okay. So these are called in English.
Put on my head.
No, not in your head. These are billets in English, and in Portuguese are picões, picão. And the miller will get this is a half as a stone, and he would spend the whole day starting one edge, and he'd be just doing this action to provide a much rougher area. And all of this, it could take him a day. We did this last Monday. We lowered the stone. It took us a day. We're going to post some of that on Facebook and all that. So you want to make it very abrasive or slightly abrasive. There's designs on the stone also to facilitate the spitting out or the movement of the flour through centrifugal force. So we're going to go upstairs. I'd like to bring to your attention this cog wheel. There used to be another unit on the other side that make the stone here spin. So this is a shaft that goes up to the other stone also, and it's attached to the main mast. We're going to go up. I think we can do everyone at one time because there's a little bit more energy. I will ask you, please, as you go up, stay against the wall. Don't touch the moving parts. We have liability insurance, but we do not want to activate it, okay? You can just that way. Be careful with your head, please. Stay close to the wall. Moving parts. They do not forgive anything here. You're good, you're good. You're going to go right over there. It's okay. Right there. Watch your head, please. This is the thing. Just go right there. Like we'll do like I asked all of the kids. Against the wall, hands in your pocket. Okay? No loose clothing is permitted up here. Go ahead. Okay. So this is the upper level. So we're in the upper level. Let's look up. By the way, if it kicks a little bit, don't get scared. If I'm not scared, it's okay. If I'm scared, you're going to run downstairs before I do. Ow! If you look up to the top, you'll see the little arrow with a red point. It looks like a pencil point, right? That is tied to the wind, to the weather vane. So what the miller has to do, I'm sorry if I'm screaming, it's a habit of millers because they have moving parts. You want to make sure they're heard. So what the miller has to do, he has to turn this canopy. You rotate it. The canopy sits on 19 wheels.
Okay.
Okay? And I use this piece here. In English it's called a come along. In Portuguese it's called cerilho. Thus sometimes if your Portuguese is as bad as mine, we just say que grande cerilho. It means that, what does grande cerilho mean? Yeah, what a mess. But this is my friend. Without this I cannot function the mill. Okay? So what is interesting is also if you look at this canopy, this is very unique about this mill. The last time major intervention in this mill was 1937. And then ours in 2002. The rafters of the mill are very close to each other. If you visit other mills, you're going to find them more space in between them. Up in that circle with the star, you'll notice that the rafters are almost touching each other. They're about 1 centimeter away. This is all done by a handsaw, right? With carpenters, they would be millwrights, carpenters that they'll go from town to town working on mills. So if you were born in that family, you probably were going to become a mill carpenter or something. They used to call them engenheiros de moinhos, mill engineers. Primary reason is in Portuguese this is called um engenho, this composition. So they would call it an engineer. What you see here is the main mast, the cog wheel. In Portuguese, cog wheel is a engrenagem. Okay? A spindle, o carreto, the stone is now elevating. It is not touching the other stone. There is no friction. If you lower the stone, the mill will probably stop. If you think the power of that wind is a lot, it's not enough. What I would have to do is open up the sails more. It takes me a half an hour to open and close the sails. So you don't want to go outside too many times. There is a hopper here, and through this channel, usually we put this guy in. It's like creates vibration. Now you know why they scream. Okay? So you can see the vibration. The vibration allows for the corn to come off the hopper into the eye of the stone. So we're going to stop that. Now you can hear the corn. You hear the stone. Now see, there's the flour. Okay? So if I'm just going to slow it down a bit. So what I'm doing with this little lever or handle, I'm lowering the stone. Probably lowering it by about 2-3 millimeters. It's already slowed down. You're going to hear a more grinding sound. So that's the reason why they have to use the millets. Because if you have two stones touching each other, they wear. So normally they would prepare to dress the stone every 2 weeks. I've dressed the stone after 5 years. Because I'm not a very good miller. I'll probably start. What I find quite interesting is the smell. You have the smell of the stone, but also of the corn flour. So the corn flour right now, because I threw some of that corn in, it's slightly gritty. Please feel free to touch it. Don't get too close, okay? Watch the stone. Just touch it.
Yeah.
You can smell it, you can taste it. We make bread, it's okay, you're not going to die. It's not some crazy yellow powder. So one of the things that I learned from my dad, the last active miller, was the flour, good flour coming out, should be as smooth as your earlobe. Okay? So if you touch, this is how I grade the flour. If I touch the earlobe, my earlobe slightly, and I'm doing this, and I have very sensitive fingers, I'm able to gauge if the flour is good or not. This is a time that, I told you about the wheels, right? There's these large ropes that prevent the whole thing from turning in case the wind changes direction. This is the reason that as millers have to be very attentive. This guy does not have a brake. You know, there's no off button. I have if I lower the stone, it's going to slow it down. So I've been caught already with strong winds. We then I lowered the stone totally, 300 kilograms on top of another stone. Still not enough. We push grain in, still not enough. When that doesn't work, you get the rosary, right? And you start praying. Right? My dad used to say, Victor, if you're scared, just go outside. So I slowly learned to stay in here and suck it up a little bit. It's actually, it's okay. I spend a lot of time here alone. When I'm here with the family, my wife's here for 10 minutes, then she goes back down. So it's a nice way to try to understand the mechanism and gain more experience. So I'm available now to answer any questions you may have. You're going to ask me a question. What kind of woods do you see here, Victor? What are the woods? The mast is of rosewood. The mast was installed in 2007. Prior to that, it was eucalyptus. This is oak and rosewood. The teeth of the cogwheel and of the spindle are olive wood. Olive wood does not heat up. Also, these gears would have to be greased. Originally, they were using sheep grease, sheep fat. Okay? And sheep fat does not dissolve quickly. So even if you get a little bit of heat, you're not going to have dripping there. The main mast is sitting on a stone. Okay? That area it sits on a stone and it gets greased also. We use now like car grease. Before they use also the fat. There's also a box here that is filled with about 1.5 liters of olive oil. Because there's a steel end that sits inside another steel case that has to be greased also. Let me see what else. The floorboards, we try to keep an industrial look, and they are about 20 centimeters wide and about 4 centimeters thick. We had them dressed properly for this. It's a tongue and groove system. I'm happy to answer any questions now. So I do not sell any flour, but I do give some away. Because if I sell, then I'm liable if somebody's allergic or something, right? Questions?